think we've got it figured out. Now I've got to have chat, which I don't quite know how to do on the chat yet. So let's move this down to here. Let's go into here. So I gave up on me 0. Oh, one's watching now. We got somebody online here. So let's take this. What's going on with this?
It's just taking forever.
I think we got it. All right. All right. Not exactly sure how we did that, maybe, but we are at least live now, finally. After everybody has done gave up, probably. Couldn't figure out what we were doing. So let's see what this one is. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to get started since I only got one viewer, but I need to go ahead and get this done because I got to be online in another 30 minutes with somebody else. This is taking much too long to get to the point we're at, everybody. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on this, I want to do it live so everybody can see it happening. But I've got some samples from Keith. And this has been a tough time getting live. So anyway, I'm going to pour the bourbon samples. Me and Keith trade samples once in a while, and he gives me some great stuff, and I really appreciate the stuff he gives me to try. We have this is the Blanton's Barrel Single Barrel Bourbon, original single barrel bourbon. This is the Four Roses Single Barrel, 120 proof, and the Stag Junior at 64.75 proof. I'm going to pour a little bit in each one of these and let it set for a minute. Because I think at 5:30 I got to go on with Ron. So I got to get this moving. And we're going to discuss our barrel. Our barrel is very important. It's completion. We're 5 weeks into the barrel. And I wanted to...
You have chat enabled on them?
Yeah, I do. Is anybody chatting?
I can't see.
Well, try you try chat and make sure it's working right. Huh? Yep, you came up. Brandy Hendricks test.
Okay.
So my baby's on.
Well, in case somebody else.
No, it's right there.
Ah.
I brought it up and had to shrink that window size to fit that window size. So with each one of these set, we're going to let them open up a little bit. I'm going to test this one. I've been using my Harley Davidson shot cup. It's a double-walled shot cup. It's very light glass. It's pretty dang neat. I bought it because I liked it. This is my barrel. Tim sent me my barrel. He was a very generous gift, and I thank you very much again, Tim. In case you didn't see my barrel, what all I put in it, I'll just give you a quick rundown. We put mellow corn, 50%, 500 mils of that. We put rye, which would be the High West Double Rye, 46% alcohol by volume there, 270 mils. The barley, we put Bull Run, which is 44.45%. We put 108 mils in that. And we put 3 mils of Laphroaig, and that was at 48%. Laphroaig 10. Is it 10? 43%. I'm sorry. I can't read my own writing. We got 181 mils total. This barrel took just under 1,000 mils, roughly. It wasn't quite a full 1,000 mils in it. And we filled it February 25th, 2018. And it's been roughly 5 weeks, a little over 5 weeks now. And I've been tasting it once every week, trying to get an idea of what it was going to be like in the end and how well it's going to be. It was very unbalanced at first. The rye gave me a lot of rye contents. The rye was covering up the corn for a long time, and the rye was just so heavily one-sided in the rye that it was very unbalanced. And the malted barley I run, the Bull Run, the malted barley whiskey I used, the Bull Run, it had it was beer barrels, what they made it from, and it carried over that beer flavor into it, and that was conflicting with the rye heavily at first. We've reached a point now where we're 5 weeks into it, and that's all evened out. It's kind of really probably all it's going to be without starting to get woody. It's starting to get a little bit woody, so I don't want to leave it in there no longer. So let me give it a quick try for everybody. So everybody, and this is what I'm going to decant into. I get these bottles here at what's it called? Not Harbor Freight. It's the craft store, Hobby Lobby. They have a lot of bottles in the back. I think most of the time you can go back there and shop, and they put different ones on sale for different amounts. I think I gave like $2 or $3 for these 2 bottles. And these are what I'm going to use to decant that into. Then I'm going to go back into this with something else right away. After I'm going to rinse it out, give it a day to kind of air out a little bit, and then I'm going to go right back in. But I don't know what I'm going to do yet when I go back in. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's turning into a very rye-forward bourbon now. I'm getting the corn. I'm getting the rye. I've lost all that beer and malted barley smell that was so prevalent. You don't even smell the Laphroaig. I've never tasted or smelled the Laphroaig past the first week. All the smokiness is totally gone. And it is. And the reason I'm using this instead of a tasting glass is this is what I've been using all along, so I'm not going to vary what I've been doing because this just sits right by the barrel. But it's very heavy, thick legs. And it actually smells very good. You get the cloves. You get the corn. You get rye bread, dark rye bread. The corn sweetness comes in on the end real well with the vanilla. I mean, I don't think this is going to get any better. I think this is where we're at as far as a taste and value goes in this. It tastes really good. Now, after it's set in my mouth for a little bit, a good, deep, long finish, there are cloves there now. The cloves bring out the very back end of all of this. And think of blackjack gum. That's the kind of clove flavor you get in it. There's a little allspice in there. Not heavy on the cinnamon. There is a touch of cinnamon in it, but not very heavy on the cinnamon at all. The cinnamon, the rye, the cloves come in with the rye, a little warm rye bread. Very rye forward. We've lost all that beer flavor off the malted barley, or I can't detect it now anyway. It's actually turned out very good, which surprised me. But one caveat that we need to understand too is I started out with quality alcohol putting in here. The Mellocorn is a 4-year-old aged corn whiskey. So and it's a bottled and bond at 50%. So we're talking everything in here has been a quality whiskey. This is not just I poured some moonshine in it and what I'm getting back. I've started with quality whiskeys just to see what would happen. And it's made something very nice and very, very good. So thank you, Tim. Thank you for doing this for me. I appreciate it. Gotta suck all the water out of my mouth for this. Okay. Yeah, just me now. That's all right. People can watch on the playback. Each one of these, we'll start with the Blanton's, has a very different flavor profile. I don't know the ABV on the Blanton's. Both of these are over 60%, though. Blanton's is very good. I'm not going to go into in-depth profiles on these because I've only got these little samples here. As you can tell, the Blanton's is just about gone. But they're all very good. Extremely good. Blanton's, a lot of vanilla. I mean, a lot of vanilla in the Blanton's. Caramel. It's really pretty good stuff. Now we'll hit the Four Roses up. And the Four Roses is giving us a little more richness and smell. It's got more rye than the Blanton's does by a long shot. Blanton's may not be rye. I don't know if it's a rye or wheat. I don't know the mash bill on it. If it's rye, it's a very light rye whiskey. It doesn't taste rye to me anyway. Just very rye forward. Strong rye. Not as heavy on the cloves as what I've got in there. More of the baking spice type rye. Cinnamon. A little dill. And the vanillas. That's what you get on the nose. This drink's way under proof. That was 60%. That drink's way under proof. Dill. Definitely dill. A little light dill. Strong vanilla. Strong caramel. Cinnamon. That's just running over top of you with that cinnamon and that vanilla. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Let's get our mouth cleaned out. Move on to the Stag. Stag's bringing wood. I get a lot of wood in this. It's rye too. Maybe. It smells rye. Warm cornbread. Almost a hot cornbread. I can take the wood and I get the cornbread in this. Corn in the form of cornbread in this. brown sugar, cornbread, woody notes. They're not offensive woody notes. It's definitely hot. On the nose even brings a lot of alcohol with it. Remember, these are not in depth. This is my second sample of this, and you get 3 samples per, and I've had 2 samples of this, and I filled it kind of small in one of the samples. But I get about 3 of what I call my dram pours off of each one of these bottles that Keith sent me. So it's really hard to give it a lot of thought. Hot, very hot. But warm cornbread. Warm cornbread with butter. A little chocolate. Brown sugar. It carries cloves with it, actually. This carries more cinnamon. This carries more cloves. There's another one in there, too. Maybe a little nutmeg. It's a little more spicy. Similar pattern. This one's more spicy and hot than this one. Of course, 64.75, 60%. Kind of expect that. Oh, yeah. Water takes a lot of the heat away. Brings up a lot more warm bread. And cornbread, but also wheat bread too, almost. Like maybe one of them 7-grain breads you get and you buy at the store. Put a little butter on it, warm it up, put a little butter on it. I get that with this. Then I get the spices that go along with it. And there's a touch of fruitiness in the Stag that I don't get with this, but I got to have the water to get it. Light fruits, apples, maybe apple pear, just a light fruitiness that's really indescript. That Stag's pretty good. Oh, yeah. But with the water, this is more drinkable. Much more drinkable. But it loses a lot of its character. It's more of a soft brown sugar, caramel. Continues with the cinnamon, but it's not as rich with the water. Not rich at all. And the Blanton's last. There's something confectionery about this. I really like this Blanton's. I don't know the ABV, but there is something confectionery about this. Light whipped sugars almost. Almost like a meringue off a pie. It's been dusted with maybe nutmeg on top of it. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Oh, yeah. Caramel, vanilla. Oh, it sits so good on the back of your tongue. This finished last. That sweet meringue. Sweet meringue on like a butterscotch pie. With just a little bit of nutmeg dust over the top of it. All right. I'm not going to stay on here any longer. This is pretty long enough. Keith, thank you for the samples. I give my favorite is the Blanton's. You can tell by the amount gone in it. I do like the Blanton's the best. These two, I really have a hard time picking one over the other. They're different, so I'm not going to pick one over the other. A little higher proof, a little bit more spiciness here. A little lower proof, but a little more probably actually drinkability. It doesn't burn you as bad. Plenty of flavor. It does. This one doesn't take water. The Four Roses doesn't take water as well as the Stagg Junior does. So drink this one without water and enjoy it. It's good. Nothing wrong with it. And Stagg Junior is obviously very good. So personally, I will make them all B+, B+, and an A for me. And that's all I can do with this because I just don't have the amount in the samples to do that. And on my concoction here, which Lord knows how much ABV, somewhere around 45%, I would guess. Cloves, 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 cloves. Dill pickle. Then cornbread, not cornbread, sweet corn. Wood. Not too woody, though. Not in a bad way. Not too bad. I think I did well with it. In all honesty, I started with some really good stuff, and I think it's made a very good concoction. Very good experiment. Thank you, Tim, for this. With that, I'm going to sign off on here. I get out of here, and everybody have a good afternoon. Remember, the spirit in your glass isn't running. Take your time, sip it, and enjoy it. You'll be better for it. Goodbye, everybody.